Hi, and welcome to Disctv, the show that brings you the world of disc golf. I'm your host, Brian Sullivan, and behind me you see the historic Riverview House here at Hobson Grove Park. Where are we? Bowling Green, Kentucky for the 2002 Bowling Green Open. Now the weather is threatening this weekend, but so far we're dry. Either way, we're in for a treat. Some great disc golfing all weekend long. So don't go anywhere. Disctv is on the air right now. Also this week, learn how to throw better in windy conditions. Todd Branch and Dave Feldberg will show you the tricks. Plus, we'll meet a couple of disc golf legends, Dr. Rick and Sylvia Vokes. It's all about disc golf. This is Disctv. Disctv is brought to you in part by the Professional Disc Golf Association, guiding disc golf into the future, and by DiscLife.com, the world leader in disc golf. Hello and welcome to Disctv's coverage of the 2002 Bowling Green Open from Bowling Green, Kentucky. I'm Brian Sullivan, and with me is Tournament Director Larry Bledsoe. Larry, the players are playing on 4 different courses this weekend. Which courses are they?
We'll be playing Hobson Grove, Caracas Park, White, and Lover's Lane.
And which of those 4 is going to give these pros the most trouble, you think, this weekend?
I would say probably White due to the wind and the wide open area.
There is a possibility of some severe weather this weekend. Do any of these courses have a tendency to flood out?
No, they don't. They're all pretty good at holding water.
And who are we expecting so far this weekend? Who's showing up?
I've seen pretty much all the top players here. Barry Schultz is here, Ken Climo's here, the winning crew's here, Al Shack's here, pretty much everybody I can think of.
And what's a brief history of the winners of the Bowling Green Open? Who's won it in the last few years?
Ron Russell's won 2 or 3 out of the last 4, and Ken Climo was in the middle of that.
So those are the 2 guys to keep your eyes on this weekend. Larry, we'll be talking to you later. Right now, let's take you out to the action. Despite a daily threat of thunderstorms, the weather managed to cooperate throughout the weekend with partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 70s. The format for the Bowling Green Open this weekend is 4 rounds of 18 holes each on 4 different courses, followed by a final 9 holes for the top 4 players. First to the women's division, where once again 4-time world champ Juliana Korver proved she is virtually invincible in this division. As a matter of fact, for the past 2 years, Korver has competed against the men and cashed at the U.S. Disc Golf Championships. At one point this weekend, the Iowa native hinted that she might be gearing up to take on the men more often. We're talking with Juliana Korver. Juliana, after the second round today, you're leading by 10, dominating again. And I understand that you were trying a new strategy for this long open course.
This course is very unique in that there's almost nothing in your way. There are a few shots in the back where you have to worry about some trees. So yeah, and it's long. I typically throw a little nose up and very conservative straight at it, and I was trying something different. I was trying to get the nose down and really come over on the shot and get a big turnover, which is going to get you more glide, more distance.
So you're going for the big ass shot.
Exactly, and it's not the way I usually throw, but wow, a couple of them worked out there, and it was really fun. I mean, obviously not all of them worked, and I ended up offline by 30 degrees every once in a while, but out here it doesn't matter because you've got an upshot clear to the basket. So it was a fun round to try to work that into my game.
So you don't foresee this to be a long-term type of change maybe, or something you're going to be adding to your game more often?
This is something I want to be able to pull out when I need it. It's not going to be a shot that I'm going to be throwing all the time. Trying to add to my repertoire so I can maybe competing a little bit better with some of the guys out there. They've got all different kinds of shots. I need all different kinds of shots.
When you are the best, you are always working to improve your skills. Juliana, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
On to the Open Division, and we begin at the wooded Hobson Grove Park, where Mike Worm Young made his presence known early, blasting through the many tree holes here to finish with a round leading score of 43 which put him a strong 11 under par. California's Sean Sinclair was close behind at 10 down, followed by a pair of North Carolinians, Walt Snoop Haney and Brian Schweberger. For round 2, we headed to the long and open White Park. With an average hole length of more than 400 feet, White Park has thick rough off the narrow fairways, which made long-distance roller shots a high risk. As a result, players kept their plastic in the air. The hot round went to World Games disc golf gold medalist Barry Schultz of Wisconsin, who walked away 10 strokes under the par 54. Ken Climo turned in a 9 down. Worm and Larry Leonard were 8 under, followed by Sean Sinclair and Brian Schweberger at 7. So after 2 rounds, Worm continued to lead the field by 2. Meanwhile, Sean Sinclair was breathing down Worm's neck. Sunday morning it was over to Lover's Lane Park, another mostly open course but shorter than White. 1999 world champ Ron Russell found his groove too late to save a top 10 finish, but he did come alive in round 3 with a 10 under par 44. Climo and Walt Haney carded 9 downs, along with Sean Sinclair, who would move into a tie for the lead with Worm. The wind began to pick up for the 4th and final full round at Kariakis Park, which features some tricky shots off the pad, moderate elevation changes, and plenty of disc-eating cedar trees. Sinclair found some trouble in those trees and almost fumbled his way out of the final 9 by throwing a 4 under par round of 50. Meanwhile, Ken Climo and Barry Schultz were trying to catch up to the leaders for a berth into the finals, both missing that goal by 1 stroke. Mike Worm Young was feeling the mojo and increased his lead to 5 strokes after turning in a 9 under par. Walt Haney hung in there at 6 down, and it was Larry Leonard as the big dog of the round, carding 10 strokes under par and needing every single one to pry his way into the final 9 and into a 3-way tie for second place with Haney and Sinclair. So our final 9 players will be Alabama's Mike Young, who now leads by 5 strokes over Larry Leonard, Walt Haney, and Sean Sinclair. When you take a look at some of the strongest players of the early 2002 season, many of them are getting off the same bus. They're the long driving, chain slamming boys of Raleigh, North Carolina. When it's time for the final 9, don't be surprised to see the likes of Larry Leonard, Walt Haney, Brian Schweberger, or Brian McCree somewhere in the mix. Heck, the way these guys shoot, you might just see them all. And just in case you thought the Raleigh threat might burn itself out, be assured that the next generation is already being trained. Is it some secret race of cyborg disc golfers? Or just a higher level of local play? Regardless of the reasons, the Raleigh boys are out on tour and they're not looking to take any bogeys. There are 3 standard categories of golf discs: drivers, approach discs, and putters. A driver is designed for high-speed, long-distance flight. It's also the most difficult type of disc to control. That was tough.
Yeah, you got a 3.
We are playing the holes that the pros are going to be playing this weekend. We're at Kariakis Park in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we're with this weekend's tournament director. He's Larry Bledsoe. Now, Larry, this hole, I'm going to say, is just downright scary. We're what, 399 feet. Tell me about, first of all, where the basket is and where our roots are going to be.
Basically, your basket is down. You can see the mowed fairway there. It turns to your right, goes down underneath that big tree. Your basic fairway is an anhyzer around this center tree here, and then come out and head towards the basket.
It's a very long hole with a very tight window. I foresee a bogey perhaps in my future.
If you hit one of the trees, yes.
Well, let's wait for these guys to go through and we'll throw this bad boy.
All right.
Look out.
Oh, it was so close. It's open.
Hang in there. Yes.
Sweet. That's a little better. Still didn't turn enough though.
Man, this is a really pretty park.
Yeah, thanks. We had a pretty good shot there for you.
Well, now that I can see the basket, it's clear that there's a lot of room to work with here, so I can see where the three shouldn't be too difficult. I say shouldn't.
Shouldn't. A little better.
Might hyzer out a little too much. At the edge.
It's a putt.
Well, I don't see it yet, Larry, but
That should
you
be down
definitely
here.
crushed it.
Oh, this tree couldn't quite turn it over enough, I don't think. Up, here we go.
Nice. All right, hit the deuce. Oh,
Man, almost. Nice putt.
good three.
Thanks.
Larry, thanks for showing us around. It's a beautiful course, and obviously it's going to be offering some serious challenges to the pros this weekend.
Yes, it should.
Now, if people want more information about disc golf and Bowling Green, where should they go?
bgdiscgolf.com.
So that information is on your screen now, and if you get a chance, experience what is disc golf and Bowling Green because it is very tasty. A mid-range or approach disc is designed for shorter distances. These also happen to make great beginner discs.
Hi, I'm Todd Branch. Last week we talked about putting and marking your lie. This week we're going to talk about upshots. Now basically an upshot is a shot where you're not close enough to really feel good about making the putt, so you're going to want to throw a shot that has a chance to go in, but no matter what will stay close to the basket so you can make your next shot. Helping us out this week, and as usual, my good friend Dave Feldberg.
How we doing today?
And we're going to move over to our mini that we've already placed and show you a little bit about marking your lie for an upshot.
Okay, so it's similar to putting where you're allowed the same amount when I said 30 centimeters behind the mini. You still have to be directly behind the mini, no farther than the 30 centimeters, and a straight line through the basket. Now if the basket's over there, you have to line up over there. You don't line up behind it. It's always through the center of the basket. So there's two ways of doing this. Some people would choose to throw it nose up. When I mean nose up, it's going to kind of climb. See how that's nose up? Didn't go anywhere. It leaves you about a 15-foot putt. No chance of it getting out of your hand. Other players are much more confident with their putting and really want to run a shot like this. So they step up and they throw a more flat line right at it. I'm not worried about how far it goes past because they're confident they'll make the putt.
Why don't you show us what you're doing with your foot placement there? Now before, when we were talking about marking your line, your foot placement, you just stood on your spot through your putt. And in this situation, Dave's taking a couple of steps before he throws.
Yes, I'm making sure, I do a practice run to make sure that I'm behind it. And then I'm allowed, as I go through, to come through with my foot. Because see, remember, I'm outside 33 feet. Remember we talked about that last
10
week?
meters. Dave's about 110 feet away here. If he were to have a tailwind, he would need to throw a little bit higher and with a little more oomph because the tailwind tends to take the disc and knock it down short and make it drop. If he were to be shooting with a headwind, the wind would cause the disc to lift up in the air and maybe even blow back at you a little. So you want to keep the headwind up shots a little bit lower and with a little more zip on those as well. If you had the wind coming from the left, and left and right winds, typically if you can throw it nice and straight and don't let the wind hit the top or the bottom of the disc, it'll go nice and straight. But if you turn the disc a little, if you show the bottom of the disc to the wind, say the wind was coming from this direction and hitting the bottom of the disc, it would pick the disc up and take it off to the right. Whereas if it were angled this way and the wind were hitting the top of the disc, it would push the disc down. So in an upshot situation, you would mostly want to keep the top of the disc facing whichever way the wind's coming from to keep it from flying away on you. If the wind's hitting the top, it'll keep the shot down and into the grass. And Dave's going to throw a couple of shots here and sort of show us what we're talking about. Okay, there he showed the bottom of the disc to the wind. That was a very good shot. It flew right on by. The wind helped it stay in the air. It got a little bit of distance. Not much of a wind here. If he throws it the other way, where he's going to show the top of the disc to the wind, that'll cause the shot to go down a little quicker. Also a very good shot. Dave's a good wind player, so he knew what he was doing. But on those two shots, the first one, the wind carried it a little further than it normally would have gone, and on the second shot, it knocked it down a little bit quicker. So that was throwing up shots and playing the wind this week. Thanks for your help, Dave. We went over running the shot and just keeping it close. The main idea with throwing up shots is you want to give it a chance to go in, but you want to be certain that it stays close for your next shot.
Approaching is the most important part of the game. Keeping it close to the basket is what shaves strokes off rounds. Pros don't keep it farther than out of the 30-foot range because that's how they get the good scores. Bogeys are created when people make bad approaches, not bad drives.
So that's your tip for this week. And as always, we'll see you every week. Try and teach you a little bit more about this game that we love so much.
Next week it'll be on the tees. So we'll see you on the fairways. Happy flights.
A putter is designed for short-range, stable flight. While they're easier to control, they won't go as far as your other discs. It's a real treat for us to be in Bowling Green on many levels. And one of those levels is that we get to spend some time with our guests today. They're Rick and Sylvia Vokes, long-standing members of the disc golf community in general and stalwart citizens here in Bowling Green. Now, these two folks have two of the most impressive distinctions in my mind, and that is that they have both won Super Tours in the Open Division, men and women, and they were the oldest to do so. Rick, let's start with you. You did this in 2000. You were 51 years old.
51 in Augusta, and I really liked the courses there, and played well the year before, and just everything clicked that year.
And Sylvia, what about you?
Mine was in Peoria, and that was probably in 97.
97.
And I was probably at the age of 58.
Now, you're both longtime disc golfers. Obviously, you're in great shape to be winning Super Tours of that caliber at when you're playing against folks who are maybe 20 years younger, 30 years younger. Is there something about the way you live, your health, that has kept you so strong in the game?
Well, in my practice, I try to promote preventive health and healthy lifestyles, and so we try to practice that and see if it really works, and usually it does. So, like, not smoking, not doing drugs,
Eating proper food.
getting a healthy diet, exercising every day, and that it pays off. It can keep you going for a long time.
As more people get exposed to disc golf, they're looking for ways to find it in their community. I know that Rick and Sylvia, you're both very involved in the community and you're doing things with schools. What kind of programs are you running?
We like to go to a school and bring the PE class out to the course. Last year we brought out the high school's a half a mile away from White Park. We brought them over and we were going to just have them play the first two holes and show them how to do it, and we couldn't stop them. They went and they played the entire 18-hole course. We couldn't stop them. They just kept going on, and they played the whole course.
And we actually donated to the school. Like
So,
about 50
what we do is
or 60
the club
discs.
collects our old discs. We give them to the school to use, so they have lots of discs to use at the school.
And if people are looking for information about disc golf and Bowling Green, where can we send them?
We have a website for the club. It's called BG Disc Golf, all one word, bgdiscgolf.com.
And you also have a website where
And
you're
I
talking
have-
about healthy activities.
My Healthy Lifestyles webpage is called health-bites, BYTES.com.
All that information is on your screen, and when you're looking for more information about disc golf, if you can't find it there, you can always find it from Rick and Sylvia Vokes. We appreciate all the work you do for disc golf, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
You can actually play disc golf just about anywhere using any type of object as your target. But the beauty of the game is really the ching of the basket.